I'm 30 years old, and 3 months ago, I ruined my ex-fiancee's wedding in the most public, humiliating way possible. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a heat-of-the-moment decision. It was planned. Carefully. Meticulously. And the best part? I didn't do anything illegal. I didn't throw a drink. I didn't start a fight. I didn't make a scene without evidence. I just told the truth. With receipts. On a giant projector. In front of 200 people. This is the story of how my ex, Emma, tried to marry her affair partner while keeping me as her backup plan, and how I made sure her big, perfect day turned into the most unforgettable disaster of her life. I met Emma 4 years ago at my friend's birthday party. She was funny, sharp, and had this energy that just drew people in. She worked in PR, which made sense. She knew how to read a room, how to say the right thing, how to make everyone feel like they were the most important person there. I was 26 at the time, working as a software developer, introverted, more comfortable with code than with crowds. Emma was the opposite of me in
Not as great
every
as
way,
you.
and I think that's what
Only
made
for
her
you.
so attractive. We started dating a few weeks after that party. Things moved fast. Within 6 months, we were living together. Within a year, we were talking about marriage. My friends joked that I was moving too quickly, that Emma was out of my league, that I should be careful. But I was in love. Blinding, stupid, naive love. Emma made me feel like I'd won the lottery. She'd send me good morning texts, surprise me with lunch at work, hype me up to her friends as the smartest guy she knows. Looking back now, I realize that Emma also loved being adored. She thrived on attention. If we went out, she needed to be the center of the conversation. If I was busy with work and couldn't respond to her texts right away, she'd get snippy. If I didn't compliment her outfit or notice her new hairstyle fast enough, she'd pout. At the time, I thought it was just a quirk. Now, I know it was a red flag. 2 years into our relationship, I proposed. I took her to the restaurant where we had our first date, arranged for her favorite dessert, and pulled out a ring I'd spent months saving for. She cried. She said yes. The entire restaurant clapped. She posted the ring on Instagram within 10 minutes. Captioned it, "He asked." I said yes. #future misses, with about 20 heart emojis. The likes and comments poured in. "You two are perfect." Finally. I knew this was coming. Emma was glowing. That night, she told me it was the happiest day of her life. For the first few months of our engagement, things were great. We toured venues, tasted cakes, argued about guest lists in the normal, stressful but excited way. Emma's PR background kicked into high gear. She made Pinterest boards, mood boards, spreadsheets. She wanted the wedding to be perfect. Not just perfect for us. Perfect for social media. Perfect for her brand. That's when the first crack appeared. We were sitting on the couch one night, and I joked that we could save a ton of money by having a small courthouse wedding instead of a big event. Emma's face immediately hardened. "No," she said. "I have waited my whole life for this. I'm not having some cheap little courthouse thing. People are expecting a real wedding. People. Not us. People." I brushed it off. I told myself it was just a dream she'd had since she was a kid. But that word, people, stuck with me. Around this time, Emma also started going out more with coworkers, late work events, PR mixers, client dinners, networking. It wasn't weird at first. PR is a social field, but the frequency ramped up. Once a week became 3 times a week. She'd come home late, sometimes tipsy, always with a story about some client who'd said something wild or some coworker who'd gotten embarrassingly drunk. One Thursday night, Emma texted me that she had a last-minute client dinner and would be home late. I was fine with it. I ordered pizza, booted up a game, and settled in. Around 11:30 p.m., I heard a notification on my phone. It was from our shared cloud photo account. Emma had set it up so all the photos we took on our phones automatically backed up to one place. Normally, I'd ignore it, but the preview showed a blurry, low-light photo of a bar. I opened it without thinking. The photo was of Emma, sitting on a bar stool, leaning in very close to a guy I'd never seen before. His hand was on her knee. Her hand was on his chest. They looked intimate. My stomach dropped. I told myself it might be an old photo, maybe a friend, maybe a weird angle. I waited. A few minutes later, another photo uploaded. This time, it was a video. No sound. Just Emma kissing the guy. Full on, no ambiguity, tongue-involved kissing. I stared at the screen, frozen. My brain refused to process it. This had to be a mistake. Maybe it was some prank. Maybe she was drunk and being stupid. Maybe, no. There was no maybe. I watched the video 3 times. It was her. It was a different bar than she'd described. It was a man she had never mentioned. And they were kissing like they'd done it before. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat on the couch, phone in hand, replaying the video over and over. At 1:15 a.m., Emma stumbled through the door, laughing at something on her phone. When she saw me awake, her smile faltered. "Hey," she said. "Why are you up?" I didn't say anything. I just turned my phone around and hit play on the video. Her face went white. For a few seconds, she said nothing. Then she launched into damage control mode. "It's not what it looks like," she said. "I was drunk. It was a stupid mistake. He kissed me first. I pushed him away right after that. I swear. I was going to tell you. Please don't overreact." I asked her who he was. She said his name was Ryan, a client. That it had been a one-time thing. That it didn't mean anything. That she loved me, and only me. That she was just drunk, and stupid, and flattered by the attention. I wanted to believe her. I really did. The wedding deposits were already paid. Our families already knew. Invitations were half designed. The idea of calling everything off made me feel physically ill, so I told her I needed time to think. I slept in the guest room. The next day, Emma cried. She apologized. She begged. She promised to cut off all contact with Ryan. She even offered to quit her job if I wanted. I told her I didn't want her to quit. I just wanted honesty. I told her if there was anything else I needed to know, she had one chance to tell me. She swore there wasn't. That this had been a stupid, one-time mistake that she'd regret forever. After a week of agonizing, talking to my closest friends, and a lot of crying, I made what I now consider to be the biggest mistake of my life. I forgave her. Or at least, I said I did. I told her we could move forward, that we could still get married, that I believed in second chances. Emma cried again, this time tears of relief. For a while, things actually got better. She stayed home more. She was more affectionate, more attentive. It felt like we'd survived something and come out stronger. Except the unease never truly went away. It just buried itself deep in my chest. Fast forward 6 months. 2 months before the wedding. I was at home on a Saturday afternoon, scrolling through my email, when I noticed a new message in my spam folder with the subject line, "You deserve to know the truth about Emma." At first, I thought it was some kind of scam, but the preview showed my full name, and Emma's name. Curiosity got the better of me. I opened it. Inside was a single paragraph. "Hey man, you don't know me, but I know Emma. We've been sleeping together for almost a year. She told me you were just her crazy ex who couldn't let go. I found out last week that you're actually her fiancé and she's still planning to marry you. I don't know what her deal is, but you deserve to know. Attached are screenshots. Do what you want with them. Ryan." Attached were over 40 screenshots, texts, Instagram DMs, photos, hotel confirmations, all between Emma and Ryan. The same Ryan from the bar. the one-time mistake. There were messages from months ago, weeks ago, days ago. Messages where she called me boring and safe, where she complained about my introverted nature, about how I wasn't spontaneous enough, where she told Ryan he was the best sex she's ever had, where she sent him selfies from our apartment while I was at work, where she referred to our upcoming wedding as the stupid circus she had to get through because canceling now would be too messy. And then there was the worst one. Ryan, why are you even marrying him if you don't love him? Emma, because he'll make a good husband on paper. Stable job, good guy, my parents love him, he's safe, you're fun. I get the best of both worlds. I felt physically sick. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone. My chest felt like it was being crushed. The woman I was about to marry didn't love me. Not really. I was a checklist, a box to tick, a financial plan, a life upgrade. Meanwhile, the guy she actually wanted was the one she was cheating on me with, and she'd planned to keep him on the side even after we were married. I don't know how long I sat on the bathroom floor, just staring at those screenshots. Eventually, I pulled myself together enough to do what I should have done 6 months earlier. I started backing everything up. I forwarded the email and all attachments to my personal account, my work account, and a brand new burner email I created on the spot. I saved everything to an external hard drive. I printed enough copies of the worst messages to wallpaper a room. Then I called my best friend, Mark. Mark has known me since we were 12. He's loud, impulsive, and fiercely loyal. When I told him what I'd found, he didn't say, "I'm sorry," or "Are you okay?" He said very calmly, "Okay, we're not just canceling this wedding. We're going to nuke it from orbit." At first, I thought he was joking. I told him I just wanted to call Emma, confront her, and call everything off. He told me to slow down. "If you confront her now," he said, "she'll cry. She'll manipulate. She'll spin it. She might even twist it so you're the bad guy for snooping or not trusting her. You've seen how good she is at PR. Do you really want to fight her on her home turf?" He was right. Emma could spin anything. She could make cheating sound like a communication issue. "So what do I do?" I asked. Mark was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "You let her walk into her own PR disaster. You let her set the stage. You let her invite everyone she wants to impress. And then, when all eyes are on her, you show them who she really is." I realized what he was suggesting. "You want me to wait until the wedding?" I said. "Yes," he replied, "if you can stomach it. You want maximum impact? You expose her when everyone is watching. Family, friends, coworkers, clients. Hell, knowing her, there'll probably be influencers there. You want revenge? That's how you get it." I didn't agree right away. The idea of pretending for 2 months felt impossible. But the more I thought about it, the more it made a twisted kind of sense. Emma's entire life revolved around image, reputation, optics. She'd crafted this narrative of the perfect couple, the perfect wedding, the perfect future. If I just quietly called it off, she'd spin it. Tell people I got cold feet, that I was unstable, that I cheated. I'd be the villain in her story. But if I exposed the truth in front of everyone, she wouldn't be able to spin that. Not easily. Not with receipts on a giant screen. So I agreed. For the next 8 weeks, I pretended. I went to menu tastings. I smiled through dance lessons. I posed for engagement photos. I listened to Emma talk endlessly about flower arrangements and signature cocktails and hashtags. I let her monologue about how this is going to be the wedding of the year, while knowing that she had no idea what was coming. In private, I was a wreck. I lost weight. I barely slept. I started seeing a therapist just to keep myself from falling apart. I told exactly 3 people what was going on: Mark, my sister, and my therapist. My sister begged me not to go through with the public revenge plan. She said I should just cancel. That humiliation wouldn't fix my pain. She wasn't wrong, but I also knew that if I let Emma walk away unexposed, she would do this to someone else, and she would absolutely destroy my reputation in the process. Meanwhile, Mark was busy helping me prepare. He worked in AV for a large events company. He had access to projectors, screens, sound systems. He knew how venues operated, who they hired, how their tech was set up. With his help, we came up with a plan. The venue Emma had chosen was a fancy hotel with a ballroom. Part of their package included an AV setup for slideshows and videos. You know, the standard embarrassing childhood photos and cute couple montage that plays during dinner. Emma had already told me she wanted to do a slideshow of our relationship. "It'll be so cute," she said. "We can show everyone our journey." Perfect. About 2 weeks before the wedding, I contacted the hotel's event coordinator. I told her I wanted to surprise Emma during the reception with a special video. I played the role of the sweet, romantic groom perfectly. I said I was working on a slideshow of our favorite memories and asked how I could provide the file in advance. She told me I could bring it on a USB drive the day before the wedding, and they'd queue it up. Mark and I got to work on the actual video. The first 30 seconds were exactly what Emma had envisioned. Photos of us smiling, laughing, kissing, vacation selfies, holiday gatherings, her favorite song playing softly in the background. We even added cheesy captions like "our first date" and "the day we moved in together." Then, right when the video reached the part where I proposed, me on one knee, her gasping, the restaurant clapping, we cut to black. Text appeared on the screen, "But there's something Emma hasn't told you." Then, screenshots, one after another. Texts between Emma and Ryan. Her calling me boring and safe. Her saying she couldn't wait to get this stupid wedding over with, so she could go back to having fun. Her telling Ryan, "Don't worry, he's just my stability. You're my real love." We added timestamps, dates. We blurred out nothing. Names fully visible. Then we included the email from Ryan. "You deserve to know the truth about Emma. We've been sleeping together for almost a year." Then photos. Selfies she'd sent him from our bed. Hotel room pictures. A shot of her in lingerie that I had never seen before. We ended the video with a simple slide. "This wedding is canceled." And then a final line. "Emma, I hope this humiliation teaches you that you can't build a happy life on lies. OP." Was it petty? Absolutely. Did I care? Not even a little. The day of the wedding arrived. I woke up feeling strangely calm. Numb, almost. The kind of numbness that comes after you've cried so much your body has nothing left to give. I put on the suit Emma had chosen. I took the obligatory photos with my groomsmen. I smiled on cue. I shook hands with relatives I hadn't seen in years. All the while, I felt like I was watching myself from outside my own body. The ceremony itself was surreal. Emma walked down the aisle in a designer dress that cost more than my car. She looked stunning, radiant, like the perfect bride. She smiled at me with tears in her eyes. I wondered if she felt any guilt at all. If she had even the slightest twinge of remorse. Or if she was just excited to finally perform the role she'd been rehearsing in her head for years. When the officiant asked if I took Emma to be my lawfully wedded wife, there was a split second where I considered saying no right then and there. Just dropping the bomb in front of everyone. But that wasn't the plan. And if I deviated now, all the preparation would be wasted. So I said, "I do." Knowing full well I was lying. We signed the papers. We kissed. The audience cheered. Cameras flashed. Emma squeezed my hand and whispered, "I love you so much," in my ear. I felt nothing. The real show was coming. The reception was held in the hotel ballroom, beautifully decorated with flowers, candles, and twinkling lights. There was an open bar, a DJ, a dessert table that looked like it belonged in a magazine. Emma was in her element, flitting from table to table, hugging relatives, taking selfies with friends, posting boomerangs of champagne clinks to her Instagram story. After the first dance and the speeches, it was time for the slideshow. Emma was practically vibrating with excitement. She grabbed my hand and dragged me to the center of the room. "This is going to be so cute," she whispered. "I can't wait to see what you did." The lights dimmed. The projector flickered to life. The first photos played. Us on our first date. At the beach. At Christmas with my family. Emma squeezed my hand tighter. People awed. Her mom dabbed at her eyes with a tissue. Then the proposal photo appeared. The restaurant. Me on one knee. Her gasping. Then the screen went black. But there's something Emma hasn't told you. At first, people laughed. They thought it was part of the bit. Then the screenshots appeared. The room went dead silent. It took a few seconds for people to process what they were seeing. The giant text bubbles. Emma's name. Ryan's name. The explicit messages. The timestamps. The photo of Emma in our bed, clearly taken while I was at work. Someone near the back gasped. Emma's father stood up, squinting at the screen, trying to make sense of it. Her maid of honor covered her mouth with both hands. My mom, who had known this was coming but hadn't seen the actual video, put her hand over her heart. Emma froze. I watched her face as the realization hit. First confusion, then horror, then fury. "Turn it off," she hissed. "Turn it off." She spun toward the DJ booth, but Mark was already there, making sure no one touched the laptop. The event coordinator tried to move toward the projector, but one of my groomsmen, who was in on the plan, gently stepped in front of her and shook his head. The email from Ryan appeared on the screen. "You deserve to know the truth about Emma." More gasps. A few people started whispering. Her aunt stood up and said loudly, "Is this some kind of joke?" No one answered. Then the final slides played. "This wedding is canceled. Emma, I hope this humiliation teaches you that you can't build a happy life on lies. OP." The lights came back on. For a moment, no one moved. Then all hell broke loose. Emma rounded on me, eyes blazing. "How could you do this?" she screamed. "You're humiliating me." I stayed calm. For the first time in months, I actually felt in control. "No, Emma," I said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "You humiliated yourself. I just provided the projector." She lunged at me, hands outstretched like she was going to hit me. My brother stepped between us. "Don't," he warned her. Her mother rushed over, demanding to know if this was real. I simply handed her a manila folder containing printed copies of the screenshots. "You can keep those," I said. "There are plenty more where they came from." Emma started sobbing. "It was just texting. It didn't mean anything. We never even—" "Don't," I cut her off. "I've seen the hotel receipts. I've seen the photos." Don't insult everyone's intelligence. Her father looked like he was going to have a stroke. "Is this true?" he demanded. Emma didn't answer. She just kept crying. He turned to me. "Why would you go through with this if you knew?" "Because," I said, "if I had canceled quietly, your daughter would have lied about why. She would have told everyone I got cold feet, or that I cheated, or that I was abusive. This way, everyone sees the truth at the same time. No spin, no PR, just facts." Emma's maid of honor, who I'd always suspected knew more than she let on, suddenly found the floor very interesting. A few of Emma's coworkers quietly slipped out the side door, phones already in hand, no doubt texting the group chat. On my side of the room, my friends and family were silent, watching. No one cheered, no one high-fived. This wasn't a movie. It was messy and raw and painful. The DJ, bless his heart, tried to cut the tension by asking timidly, should I play some music?" "No," I said. The event is over. I stepped up onto the small stage where the band was supposed to play later and picked up the microphone. "I'd like to make a brief announcement," I said. All eyes turned to me. "First, I'd like to apologize to my family," I began. "I know this is not how you expected today to go. I also want to apologize to anyone who traveled to be here, who spent money on flights and hotels and gifts. I didn't make this decision lightly, but I couldn't, in good conscience, go through with a marriage built on lies." I turned to face Emma. "Emma has been cheating on me for almost a year," I said simply, "with a man named Ryan. She told him I was her crazy ex while we were actively planning this wedding. She described this entire event," I gestured around the room, "as a stupid circus she just had to get through so she could go back to having fun with him. I have receipts for all of this. I'm not asking you to take my word for it. You've just seen some of them. There are more." I took a deep breath. "As of right now, I consider this marriage null and void. I will be filing for an annulment. Emma, you and your family are free to stay and enjoy the food and the bar you've paid for. My family and I will be leaving. Any gifts addressed to Emma and my name will be returned to sender. I don't want anything from you except my freedom." With that, I set the microphone down. There was a beat of stunned silence. Then, my uncle started clapping. He was quickly joined by my cousin, then my sister, then my mom. Not everyone applauded. Some looked horrified. Some looked entertained. Some looked like they wanted the floor to swallow them whole. Emma's family did not clap. Her mother looked like she might faint. Her father just stared at Emma like he didn't recognize her. Emma sobbed harder. "Please," she said, reaching for me. "We can talk about this. We can fix this. Don't do this. Not like this." I stepped back. "We are done," I said. "There's nothing to fix. You made your choices. Now you get to live with them." And then I walked out. My family and friends followed. We went to a different bar down the street. One Mark had pre-booked just in case. He'd arranged for food and drinks to be sent out as soon as we arrived. We ended up having an impromptu anti-reception. No speeches, no first dance, just a group of people decompressing from the emotional nuclear bomb that had just gone off. Over the next few days, the fallout was intense. Emma called me dozens of times. I blocked her number. She emailed me paragraphs of apologies, explanations, excuses. I created a filter that sent everything with her email address straight to a separate folder I never opened. Her mother called my mom, crying, begging her to convince me to reconsider. My mom politely told her that while she was sorry things had ended this way, she supported my decision. Emma's father sent me a terse text that simply said, "I understand. I'm sorry you had to go through this." I didn't respond. Then the social media storm hit. Despite my intention to keep this as contained as possible, someone at the wedding had recorded the slideshow and my speech on their phone. Within 24 hours, the video was on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. The clip of Emma's texts on the giant screen, followed by the "This wedding is canceled" slide, racked up millions of views. Comment sections were flooded with arguments about whether I'd gone too far, whether Emma deserved public humiliation, whether airing dirty laundry like that was ever okay. I stayed off social media for a week. When I finally logged back in, my notifications were insane. Hundreds of friend requests, messages from strangers telling me I'd done the right thing, a few calling me a cruel sociopath, several women sliding into my DMs with variations of, "Hey King, you deserve better." I ignored them all. What mattered more were the messages from people who'd been in similar situations. Men and women who'd been cheated on, gaslit, manipulated. People who'd quietly called off weddings and then had to watch their exes smear their names as the bad guy. People who wished they'd had the courage, or the pettiness, to do what I did. Legally, things have been surprisingly straightforward, Because the marriage was less than 24 hours old and had not been consummated after the ceremony, my lawyer said we had a strong case for an annulment instead of a divorce. We filed on the grounds of fraud. Emma had entered into the marriage under false pretenses, misrepresenting her commitment and fidelity. Emma initially fought it. Her first lawyer tried to argue that my public humiliation of her constituted emotional abuse, that I had deliberately caused her psychological harm, that my actions should negate any claim of fraud on her part. My lawyer responded by submitting all the screenshots, the email from Ryan, and a timeline of her infidelity. When faced with the sheer volume of evidence against her, Emma's lawyer advised her to stop fighting. The annulment is now in process. Once it's finalized, it'll be like the marriage never happened. No alimony, no division of assets. The only money I'm out is my half of the wedding costs, which, believe me, is a small price to pay for my freedom. As for Emma, her life has not exactly gone according to plan. Her PR firm did not appreciate being dragged into a viral cheating scandal. Several of her clients threatened to cut ties if she remained on their accounts. In an industry where image is everything, being publicly exposed as a liar and a cheat isn't a great look. Last I heard, she was taking a break from work to focus on her mental health. Translated, she either quit before they could fire her or was gently pushed out. Her relationship with Ryan also imploded. Apparently, he didn't love seeing his own messages and photos blasted on a giant screen in front of hundreds of people and millions more online. Who knew? According to a mutual acquaintance, he accused Emma of setting him up and ruining his life. They broke up within a week of the wedding. That wasn't. Emma tried to salvage her reputation online. She posted a Notes app apology on Instagram talking about personal struggles, mistakes, and growth. She framed the entire situation as a deeply painful private matter that was exploited for entertainment. She never actually admitted to cheating, never apologized directly to me, and positioned herself as a victim of public shaming and cancel culture. The comments were mixed. Some people bought it, told her she was strong, that she didn't deserve to be humiliated like that two wrongs don't make a right. Others weren't so forgiving. They pointed out the texts, the timeline, the fact that she could have called off the wedding at any time but chose to go through with it while actively cheating. They accused her of weaponizing her gender and mental health to dodge accountability. I stayed silent. I haven't spoken a single word about the situation publicly. No posts, no interviews, no anonymous Reddit threads. The only place I've told the full story is here, under a throwaway account, stripped of identifying details. In my day-to-day life, things are better. I'm in therapy, working through the anger and trust issues. Some days are harder than others. I still flinch when my phone buzzes late at night. I still feel a twist in my gut when I see a wedding photo on my feed. I still replay moments in my head, wondering how I missed the signs. But I'm also rediscovering myself outside of being Emma's fiancée. I'm spending more time with friends. I've picked up old hobbies I dropped during our relationship. I'm going to the gym, not out of some revenge body cliche, but because it helps my anxiety. I'm cooking more. I'm reading more. I'm learning how to enjoy my own company again. Would I do it the same way if I could go back? Honestly, yes. Not because I'm proud of it. Not because I think public humiliation is always the answer. But because Emma built her entire life around image, perception, and manipulation. She used those skills to deceive me, to string me along, to make me feel guilty for even questioning her. If I had quietly slipped away, she would have spun a story where she was the victim and I was the villain. She would have landed on her feet, probably with a heartbroken but resilient brand makeover. Instead, the mask slipped, and everyone saw. There's a certain poetic justice in that. To anyone reading this who's in a similar situation, engaged to someone you have serious doubts about, seeing red flags you keep explaining away. Please, listen to your gut. You don't have to nuke a wedding like I did. You don't have to go scorched earth. But you also don't have to martyr yourself on the altar of someone else's image. You deserve someone who actually loves you, not someone who loves what you can do for them, not someone who sees you as a stability plan while they chase fun on the side. And if you're someone like Emma, if you're stringing someone along because they're safe while you get your thrills elsewhere, let this be a warning. Sometimes the quiet, introverted person you think will never stand up for themselves is the one who will burn your entire facade to the ground in front of everyone you were trying to impress, and they won't even raise their voice.